Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. It's raining outside, so I'm in the mood for a stew, and I'm gonna name it Aztec stew. If you were wondering who Aztecs were, they were native people who in 15th and early 16th centuries ruled the large empire is what it's now called Mexico. All I know, they invented this calendar you see on the picture, invented chocolate, worshipped lots of gods, and farmed large areas of land. Being a skillful farmers, their diets included meats, vegetables, and grains. And that's what we're going to put in our stew today. So let's get started. As far as the meat selection goes, you always have options, but I show you what I am going to use. I'm going to use 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef. And I'm gonna use some sausage, and here's your option. Here you could use is a beef chorizo. I found this one, which is chicken chorizo. I was very excited, so I'm gonna use that, or any type of sausage you like. Now vegetable selection would be 1 can of sweet corn. You probably have it in your pantry. 1 can, which is 400 grams of tomato puree. I'm going to use 2 medium zucchinis, but you could use a yellow squash if you like. Then we are going to need 1 large onion, 5-6 cloves of garlic. Then we're going to use 1 small bunch of fresh cilantro and just couple leaves of fresh basil, mainly for serving our dish. And we're going to need 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Now let's look at the grain selection, and I'm going to give you the ones that are going to hold on to their shape while being cooked, and that would be a Pearl Barley. That's a good grain to use in any kind of stew. Or this new kid on the block is a Farro. Everybody's using it, which is a whole wheat grains, and this is wonderful. And then I found this in my pantry, which is called Ancient Grains. Has rice, bulgur, barley, red rice, and white quinoa. So if you see it in the store, buy it. You might want to use it. But after all, I've decided to go with 1 cup of Farro. Now let's talk about spices and flavorings. We're not going to overload this stew with lots of spices, but I am going to be using 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. I am going to be using 1 teaspoon of Ancho Chili, or you could use chili flakes, 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika, and then I'm going to use the spices I make. This is 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, and 1 tablespoon of dried basil. And of course, as always, you're gonna need some kosher salt and black pepper to taste. And then we will need 900 milliliters, which is 32 ounces of beef broth, or you could use water, 3 tablespoons of cooking oil, and 1 tablespoon of aged balsamic vinegar. First, we need to chop our onion, because every stew starts with an onion. There is an Andalusian thing that making a stew without onion is like trying to sing a song without a tambourine, which is totally true. You can of course stick to a regular mirepoix that is normally used in all the stews, which are diced onions, carrots, and celery, and I don't see why not. But in this recipe, I'm only gonna be using the onion. Next thing, we need to mince our garlic, and you can choose how much garlic you want in this dish. I chose to use 6 cloves, and I think that's plenty. And I usually use my rocking tool to mince my garlic, but I got really inspired by the show Top Chef, and I saw one of the guys smacking the garlic and chopping it like a machine, so I've just decided to do that instead. And then cut the little ends of your zucchinis and slice them at 1/4 inch thick slices like that, and set them aside. Then we're gonna move on to the sausage, which is also gonna be sliced in about 1/4 inch thick slices. This time don't throw the ends because they're food. Next thing we need to do is to chop our cilantro, and you might say, can I skip cilantro? Not. Absolutely not. To answer the popular question, is cilantro common in Mexican food? The clear answer is you better believe it. Not only is cilantro common, but it's also necessary for a full flavor experience. I'm gonna use a 7-quart cast iron pot to make my dish, to which I'm gonna add 3 tablespoons of cooking oil and heat it up really well. Then I'm gonna add the onions and saute them on a medium-high temperature until they are golden brown. Then we're gonna add our minced garlic and cook it for just 1 minute. Add ground beef, and using the wooden spoon, start separating that chunk of ground beef and try to break it into smaller pieces, and also turning so it just cooks evenly and faster, and it's gonna look like this. Now it's a perfect time to season your meat because you have a little bit of the liquid left there. So we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, some freshly ground black pepper. Then we're gonna add smoked paprika, which is a tablespoon. Add Ancho Chili, 1 teaspoon. Add dried parsley, 1 tablespoon. Add dried thyme, 1 teaspoon. Then we're gonna add dried basil, 1 tablespoon. Add tomato paste, because that liquid that's in the meat right there is gonna help us to dissolve and distribute that tomato paste in our dish. Add chorizo slices. We're gonna mix it all around, and I can tell you it smells so good. We're just gonna cook it for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna start adding more things to it, which are our tomato puree. You can also make your own tomato puree by blending the fresh tomatoes. Add sweet corn. You could use one from the can or a frozen one. Then we're gonna add washed and drained farro. And once again, you could use barley for this dish. Then we're gonna add our chopped fresh cilantro. Don't fight me on this, you have to use it. Then add 900 milliliters of beef broth for very rich taste, or you could choose to use water instead. We can always add more liquid as the dish starts to cook. Then the last thing that goes in our stew is aged balsamic vinegar, and that's gonna give it a really nice taste. Then we're gonna bring it to a boil, then reduce the heat and cook it on low for 30 minutes. Now you were just wondering what happened to zucchini. Well, yes, they are gonna be added to the dish. Right now, we're gonna add our sliced zucchini because zucchinis take very little time to cook, and I didn't want them to turn into mush, so I added them at the last minute. We're gonna cook the dish with zucchinis now for just 15 minutes. Turn off the heat, close the lid, and let the dish sit for about 15 minutes until we're ready to serve it. And I'm gonna be serving it in this beautiful bowl, and as you can see, the consistency of it is perfect. It has plenty of liquid, and I'm making a little mess, which I'm gonna clean it up. You could always add more liquid if you like your stew to be more liquidy. Then we're gonna decorate it with the basil leaf and just drizzle with crema mexicana, which is a pretty much sour cream, and enjoy our dish. You can always serve it with a piece of rustic bread, and it's a perfect dish for winter time to enjoy. I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.